Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Today we're talking about why the Go Fast camper doesn't suck. Found this nice little backwoods area down here in southeastern Tennessee, and today I want to talk about why the Go Fast camper doesn't suck, why it maybe takes a lot of hate, but in reality is a great camper. I've had my GFC for just under a year, and I've spent close to 50 to 60 nights in it, so I think I've got a good idea of, the use cases for the Go Fast camper, where it does well, where it does not. And I've camped in like parking lots, campgrounds. I've lived out of the truck for almost a month. And I want to talk today about why the things basically that I see as good reasons to own a Go Fast camper. I'll start by going over just the specs of the GFC V2 Pro. I went ahead and went with the gray powder coat for the panels. I did the front as well as the rear window. I don't know if you want to call that front and this rear, but I got both windows, the glass on this thing. And I basically did the windows up on top too. So on either sides of the tent, not only does it have this one, but it has the windows on this side. And then everything else was pretty much just standard on the GFC V2 Pro. It came with a lighting kit. It came with the upgraded mattress, which is honestly more comfortable than my mattress at home and most mattresses I've ever slept on. Outside of that, you just get the upgraded tent, the new design with bigger windows. You got different areas where you could store stuff like your phone, your keys up there, and also have the headliner that goes over top or on the underside of the ceiling of the tent. So that helps with like condensation in winter, and also keeps the sun from like waking you up in the morning from blaring through that translucent white panel. Now there's basically a carpeted type material that is a headliner for the entire ceiling of the tent. I originally came from a fiberglass shell on the back of this thing that I camped probably another 50 to 60 nights in, and I had that for a couple years and started really looking into this style of camper with the pass-through and the pop-top, rooftop tent, whatever you want to call it. Most importantly, I wanted a camper where the panels opened up on every side, meaning on the truck bed. I wanted to be able to reach into the side of the truck and be able to grab gear, because after being in the fiberglass shell with one entry point and one exit point being the tailgate, it gets exhausting having to jump up there and grab gear every time you forget something, a little cord, you need to grab a paper towel, and everything's not necessarily accessible. And I even had a wooden build out in that thing with a big drawer system, which was handy, but I couldn't fit all my gear in there. So no matter what, I was always jumping up into the truck, hammering on my knees, and it just got old.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
I just didn't want to clip my nuts. So something that was definitely not negotiable for me was having the panels that open up on the sides of the truck bed. And that way I can just easily reach in and grab gear and just have much better access, as well as it makes for a cool, you know, when you're at camp, you can pop everything open. You get a nice breeze if you're hanging out in the camper as well. And I also love that when it's open, my truck still looks like a pickup truck. Whereas before, with the fiberglass shell, I had it paint matched. It looked good, but at the same time, it didn't look like a pickup truck anymore. It looked like an SUV. And I feel like with this, especially with the panels open, I just love, like, I bought that first gen Tacoma because I love the body on it. And being able to have a camper that like kind of emphasizes the body of that truck still, I really enjoy it. Plus, having the contrast of the gray panels to the truck, I think looks really good. I was thinking about doing white panels, but then that kind of reminded me of why I didn't like the fiberglass shell, making it almost look like a unibody type SUV rig. And having the contrast just, I think, makes it look really cool, very utility looking. And speaking of which, all of the framing in the GFC is aluminum. Everything is about as lightweight as you can make it, or at least not me or you, but these companies that are making campers can make them. So after looking at all the campers that were on the market at the time, GFC was not only the cheapest, they were also, I think, the only one that was entirely built. I know a lot of them are assembled in the US, but was entirely built, materials and everything in the US. And it also came in at the lightest. This first gen Tacoma is not a beast of a truck. It doesn't have a massive motor, and the weight capacity is not great. So having the lightest weight camper was kind of also a non-negotiable. And GFC came in at about 260 pounds for that camper shell. That is including the shell, the frame, and the tent. It's all one unit. And that was a huge selling point for me. Now, I do a lot of stuff on this channel with my vehicles, DIY. I like to do everything myself. And I actually looked at building a camper just like this from scratch and using like extruded aluminum. So it was still going to be lightweight. But at the end of the day, the cost it would have taken to get the materials, get them cut, I was basically going at it with a fresh design, and I was surely going to run into errors where I was going to have to reorder materials and all that stuff. So honestly, the price gap from building it myself, and then on top of the countless hours it would have taken to actually build it, and also not knowing whether or not I could take it off road and it would structurally be sound, it just made more sense to go with the GFC. And so I gave up on building my own and decided to just bite the bullet and go with the GFC, and I'm so happy I did. There's been a couple hiccups and things I've had to kind of adjust and fix along the way since owning the camper. First and foremost was the water intrusion, where the camper meets the truck bed on the bed rails. I was having a lot of water intrusion up in the corners near the cab of the truck, and I actually swapped out just for a heavier duty seal, like a truck cap seal you can get anywhere on Amazon and such. And that, along with actually driving the truck for a few weeks, really made a big difference. And I think a lot of people, when they first get their camper who have water intrusion issues in that same location, haven't driven the truck for a while. And honestly, I truly believe that you need to be able to drive the truck and have the weight of that camper kind of compressing onto the bed rails for a bit. And with the new seal, which I'm sure helped, because it's a heavier duty seal made for like 300 to 350 pound campers, versus the one that GFC supplied, which I think is a little bit more light duty seal. And after driving on it for a few weeks, I just stopped having water intrusion. I think the weight of the camper like smushed that seal into all the crevices and stopped all the water intrusion. We took this thing out to Colorado and lived in it for close to a month, and very like south central Colorado in the high desert, lots of dust. Dust intrusion for me isn't really a thing. I think that also is going to depend on your actual truck and what vehicle you're putting it on. And I guess, honestly, this old first-gen Tacoma does a pretty good job of not having a ton of dust come in. So I know people have complained about that. I haven't really had that issue, and I've had fairly good luck with it. Something I absolutely love about the GFC, and again goes back to me just being a DIY person, is the amount of like modifications and stuff you can do with this thing is pretty unlimited to your own imagination. I mean, they give you basically you could call it a bare bones camper that you can decide to build and do what you want with. And they obviously have cool accessories that you can get, like the lighting kit. Now they do a molly panel up front, and they're actually doing a slider window up front. So they're improving their campers along the way. But for the most part, like, it's bare bones, and you can really build it however you want. So I've done a fire extinguisher mount here. I actually did wooden panels back here that bolt into the factory. You can see one existing hole up there, the GFC factory holes. It just bolts on. So that way I can screw in stuff like my DC to DC charger, my cell booster antenna hardware. And then I've also used the same mounting points to put these fist clamps to hold my fishing rod. And then I've also got a TV in here, which I'll show you this side, is actually a piece of like ABS that I smushed the top and bottom, and again, use those same little threaded holes to be able to put bolts through, and just secured it with, 2 bolts and added a little like TV swivel mount. There you go. I'm not saying you should do this. It hasn't been used that much camping, I'll be honest with you, but it kind of is still cool to be able to add all those things, as well as a paper towel holder, just DIY with a cheap bungee strap, again, bolted using those same threaded holes that are all around the camper. So there's just so much you can do with it. It's just, honestly, the structure is just metal and everything's very open. So you have a lot of room to add stuff. Like you can add almost like bicycle type bags in these areas for added storage. There's, the whole thing upstairs with the headliner now, you could add a lot of Velcro satchels and things of that nature to store stuff. So the sky's the limit with it, and that's what I really like. And we could talk about prices all day long, and I think it's really going to come down to, are you going to use the camper or are you not going to use the camper? And what I mean by that is, to get into a camper of this style, you're spending at least, I think I've seen one that just came out that doesn't have nearly as many options, but theirs starts at about $7,000. The GFC starts, it's hard to say because I keep updating it, but I think starts at $9 before you start adding a lot of the extra features. But then there's a lot of campers out there that start at $11, and by the time you've added the side windows and all the lighting and everything, you're up to like $15,000 to $16,000 for basically a glorified camper shell that's been merged with a rooftop tent. So, if you were to buy a camper shell, $2,000. If you were to buy a rooftop tent, $2,000. So you're at $4,000 there. Now, to have the pass through all in one unit creates a pretty big jump of like, ooh, that's like a Hornet thing. Creates a pretty big jump of adding like $8,000 to $9,000 minimum to have this style of camper. So I say that because it is really expensive, and this has to be something you like to do, and meaning like truck camping and getting out into like some rugged trails, where having this rugged of a camper shell with all the amenities is something you actually want and are going to be able to use. If you're going to stay in this thing 2 times a year, I wouldn't get it. If you're traveling in this full time, I think you should get it. I think it's a super cool option, especially now that they're adding like the slider front window, where if you were in places traveling where you didn't necessarily want to pop the tent and you wanted to sleep down below, having that ventilation option with the slider window is just such a game changer. And I'm so happy to see GFC do that. Unfortunately, mine doesn't have that. So I'm still figuring out whether or not I want to drill into one of my panels and create a vent. But I think if you're going to use this type of camper, then it's a great option. And I think GFC is still the best option. And can't really say for certain though. I've only had my experience with this camper. I haven't had the chance to spend $15,000 on each different company's camper and try it out for a while. This is the one I wanted. I loved how it looked. I loved the marketing behind GFC, and this is the one I went with. And I think they're still coming in at one of the lowest cost campers out there. And for the build quality, I think it's great. And a lot of people want to rap on GFC for not listening to their users, their purchasers, not taking advice, but I honestly think they are. I think they're like any other small company out there where they have internal issues. You have staffing issues, you have just growing, getting all the tech, like your website. They have the GFC forums, which I know are not in their A day anymore, and maybe they'll come back. But, there's a lot that goes behind the scenes of running a small company, and they've still managed to take advice from people who are out there camping in their campers and basically turn them into reality. So You know, a lot of the complaints before were not enough ventilation up top with the tent, creating a ton of condensation. They made the windows bigger. They added upper vents and lower vents so that way air can escape whether it's hot or cold. They added the lighting kit, which is super cool. And just, you know, a lot of people don't want to mess around with wiring and all that. I'm pretty comfortable with it. So my only drawback on this lighting kit is it uses a lot of power for just LED strips. So I may swap it out in the future to something else. I haven't decided yet, but they regardless are listening. Another big one was the locks. The V1 and V2 locks apparently sucked. And these are the V2 Pro locks, and they work pretty well. I have to, just like any other old lock on this truck, I every now and then spray some WD-40 on it and keep it all nice and moving freely, and they just work great. So, oh, and the latch covers. That wasn't, you know, initially something. They added that because people were getting dust, and in the winter, like ice would freeze up on the locks, so they added covers. So I just think that no matter how big or small the feature is, GFC is just very in tune with improving their campers and trying to just keep their level of quality and design as well. So they're not just adding on cheap stuff just to add on cheap stuff. Like everything on the GFC looks like it belongs on the GFC, if that makes sense. Like there's nothing on it where I'm like, this all looks great, but this looks really bad. Like everything just looks really well put together. And again, one of the reasons I just love the GFC is everything is just an all-in-one purchase. And I don't know, I have spent a lot of nights in it, and I've gotten to know my Go Fast camper pretty well, and we get along just fine. So it's all I can say about it. And I already know there's going to be a ton of comments on this video saying I own the Super Pacific, it's the best. I own the Tune camper, it's the best. I own the insert name here, it's the best. And you're probably right. You know, the camper for you is the camper for you. And if that's what works for your camping lifestyle, I think, heck yeah, man, rock on. I think you should keep rocking that. And same way as I'm going to keep rocking the GFC. Like it just works for what I want to do and what I need out of this truck camper. And if you do own another camper, let's talk about it down below in the comments section. Let's chat about it and don't just make it like a GFC sucks or this sucks or that sucks. Like come to the comments section with why you like your camper, what sets it apart from other campers, what makes it worthwhile. That's the cool conversation I want to have. And I'm happy to chime in on the GFC side of things, as well as if there's any other GFC owners out there that want to do the same. So I just would love to hear what other people's experiences are, because like I was saying before, it costs, you know, $10,000 to $15,000 to get into one of these campers. So most likely, unless you got the daddy's buku bucks, you're probably not had the luxury to have tried a bunch of different campers. You probably bought one, saved up a ton of money to get it, and then got it. And now you're like, okay, this is what I have. But I guess if there's people out there who've had like all of the different types of campers, I'd love to hear from you. And I'm sure your input is more valuable than a lot of people who've only owned one style of camper like myself. So just wanted to jump out here, get into the freaking woods. That was fun. I didn't expect there to be a little bit of off-roading going on to get out here. And just talk about the GFC, because we're coming up on a year of ownership. Like I said, spent probably 50 to 60 nights in it, and wanted to talk about why it doesn't suck. I think it just gets a bad rap, and I don't think it's fair. I think GFC is doing a good job. Of course, there's places where they can improve, but that's with any company. So thank you all so much for being here and hanging out with me. If this is your first time on the channel, welcome. I do a lot of truck camping. I've got a trip coming up, road trip, camping trip, truck camping trip. Going to be living out of this thing for a week or two, basically traveling from Tennessee up to Michigan and back. And that's something I'm very much looking forward to. So if you guys are here for the first time, thank you. Think about subscribing. Hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Again, comments below. And I will see you in the next one. Keep elevating, my friends. Love you all, no matter what camper you rock. And I'll see you next time.